I'd like to welcome Cathy Ramsdell, our Executive Director and host for this evening on with us. Cathy has been leading the staff since 2003, over half of our 30 years as an organization. So thank you, Cathy, for joining us.
Thank all of you for joining us today. I tell you, I'd give my right arm if we could do this in person. I'm a hugger. I love to greet all of you, and that we have to do this in this sort of flat two-dimensional medium is a bit heartbreaking, but that's okay. At least we have the opportunity to do this. For those of you who may have joined late, I'm Cathy Ramsdell, the Executive Director, and I want to re-welcome each and all of you. We have board and staff members with us. We have former board members. We have founding board members with us this evening. We have former staff and interns with us. We have legislators. We have sponsors. I think we have the Coast Guard with us, some other waterfront partners, other water keepers and former water keepers are with us, founding water keepers, donors, of course, volunteers, and community partners. I welcome you all. First, before I get into my remarks, I want to thank our staff for the outstanding work they all do each and every day. Our work has not stopped, even with the shutdowns due to the virus. Will Everett, Ivy Franyoka, Sarah Lyman, Sarah Byron, Jeff Federer, Jim Splood, Mike Doan. It's extraordinary every day to work with you, each of you and all of you, to juggle all the details that we juggle, as well as the incredible amount of time we spend thinking about the big picture and down the road, audiences, reception, and what will really make a difference out there in the health of the Bay. I thank you each and all with all my heart. As Maine commemorates its 200th year anniversary, thanks to all of you, we have this 30-year legacy of work to celebrate. Work that has really provided us with a proven track record and a reputation, frankly, of credibility and reliability and accessibility. We now stand on the foundation of this history as we turn towards the future. So we're going to look now together as I describe the work that we're doing and the work that lies ahead. Malcolm mentioned that I'd speak with you about the Climate Change in Casco Bay Fund. This is one of our first really truly public announcements about this. It's our new fund for science that will also support our advocacy and our community engagement work. And I'm going to talk with you about the origins of this and where we are. It's very exciting. All right, as Sarah mentioned, our mission, as you know, most of you, is that we focus on improving the environmental health of Casco Bay. And we do that by focusing on water quality. Clean marine water to us is fundamental habitat. And how we do this is by a combination of using science, advocacy, and community engagement. We like to use a work with approach in that, and we like to use the science to bring that to bear so that we are really fact-based in everything that we are doing. Our work with approach also employs common sense and decency, which is extremely important to us, in conjunction with data and facts and a working knowledge of the regulatory environment, frankly. It's a very integrated approach, and as a staff, we work truly as an ensemble, with each staff member building their level of expertise in their area that they focus on while working together to assist one another as a team. And we're using science not just for the sake of science, but to support the behavioral and regulatory changes. You heard Representative Pingree mention plastics earlier. In fact, we were taking water samples earlier a couple of years ago to look for plastics in them, actually. And there we are in Portland Harbor. Our job is really to try to translate the science into understandable terms and help conduct conversations in the community to address those concerns and behavior changes. We're home to Casco Baykeeper Ivy Franyoka. As you heard earlier, we were a founding member of the Waterkeeper Alliance out of 7 groups in the world. That's an organization now of over 300 independent groups internationally, each with a personal advocate who works to protect the health of a particular body of water. Ivy acts as our chief public advocate. She's really the eyes, ears, and voice for the Bay. It's supplemented by those of you who are water reporters. We'll talk about that in a minute. But she utilizes our scientific data and observations from our water reporters to support the regulatory and behavioral changes that we're advocating for on behalf of the Bay. She has a deep, very deep working knowledge of the Clean Water Act, and she reviews drafts of discharge permits and then advocates for stronger pollution protections in those permits. As you know, climate change is posing a host of new challenges to water quality, not the least of which comes from increasing amounts of stormwater runoff. When it rains a lot. As we've seen in the last couple of weeks, we're having gorgeous weather, and then last Thursday it rained like the dickens. That causes a lot more erosion and a lot more runoff, which can be loaded with toxins and too many nutrients. So in addition to her work with the Maine Climate Council's Coastal and Marine Working Group, over the past 5 years, Ivy has been deeply involved in municipal stormwater regulations at all levels, from the big MS4 shared permits, that's very wonky stuff, to working with the individual sewage treatment plant operators in the cities. She's now starting work with the process of the Long Creek permit renewal, and you'll be hearing more about that in the years and months ahead. Absolutely invaluable supplement to our scientific work. Community engagement is key to what we do, and because of the virus, this photograph represents something that right now we've had to suspend this kind of activity. These are people who've just done a coastal cleanup, and I might take a moment to point out the person to the far right is Sandy Marsters, our incoming board president. We've engaged groups of people outside to do these cleanups and storm drain stenciling and various trainings. And of course, that's all on hold for now. But what's not on hold is this observing network of water reporters. That's going like gangbusters. So I encourage you, if you aren't a water reporter yet, to either find somebody that you think might be interested or think about doing it yourself. All the information's on our website. Sarah Lyman is the person who coordinates that for us. I encourage you to get involved. These folks are working with us to report key things they're seeing all around Casco Bay. They're tracking algal blooms, sea level rise, eelgrass beds, erosion, pollution incidents, wildlife all over the bay. And the whole network of you can see the posts from other people. And many is the time we've been able to bring posts to the attention of regulatory and enforcement officials and take care of problems out there. That gives Ivy more eyes, ears, and more of a voice out there. It's very, very, very helpful. We have the most active water reporter group in the country. We are happy to report. We're very proud of you all. And we have volunteers who do a number of other things with us. And often the volunteers, as well as the donors and you members, you're the ones who readily respond when we ask you to weigh in on an issue that may be up for public comment. And it takes a whole community of people to speak out on behalf of the Bay. And that makes you, the Friends of Casco Bay, really